Right, ladies and gentlemen, if we look back to the history of our wonderful nation to 1947, we can come forward and realize that things have not been the same in the last 3, maybe 4 months. And we've been facing something absolutely unprecedented, the likes of which no one ever could have predicted. And for many, it was a time of despondence. For many, it was a time of despair. For some, even depression. But when you have certain folks who get together, those D words get thrown out the window. And you know that you can look forward with positivity. Because there's a very small phrase that we want to look at, and that says livelihood matters. And if anybody out there believes that livelihood matters, you'll know just exactly where we are headed. Now, when you think of Procam International, absolute rock stars in the world of sport, the first impression might be, guys, here comes another wonderful running event. And you may not be wrong, because they are the leaders when it comes to that. But let me set the record straight right here, that while they may be the best in the world at what they do, this is not a running event. The only R that they have in common is that it's a revolution. It's an initiative. It's a movement, the likes of which anyone on this panel or anyone in the country will never have seen before. Just to give you an example, if it were a running event, maybe one member of the family would go out there and run and everyone else would support them, which is wonderful. But the difference in this case, in this movement, in this initiative, is it's inclusive for every single person in a family, friends, your cook, your chauffeur, your teacher. Everybody is included in this. And as we go on with our conversations, we'll find out exactly why. And that's how you can make a difference. It's about making a difference. It's not about a finish line. There are 3 pillars we talk about: social impact, community, and wellness. How do you address 3 pillars like this? How do you kill these 3 birds with 1 stone? I've taken it from 2 to 3. The simple answer is you don't need a stone. You need a giant pillar. You need a big brick, a brick on which everybody together can stand. And hence we come up with India Run as One. It's all inclusive. It's an all inclusive platform. And only when India runs together as one can this initiative be possible. And that's the reason why I said the 2 gentlemen who we're going to hear from very shortly, the miracle makers, their biggest quality, apart from everything else, is the ability to galvanize. If you cannot galvanize, you cannot have an initiative. And I think to some it might come across as a difficult word, but it's the only word that can describe this. The only word that can be used to get everyone together and get together as one. One other word I'm going to throw at you before I move forward, and that's the simplicity of the initiative. There's nothing complex. Whether you have the most wonderful footwear in the world or you don't, it's not about that. It's about registering, and you've taken that first step, and that's what matters. That's the message, the simple message we want to get out there. By registering, you've made that first step, you're already as one, and then everything else will follow. It's wonderful that we've got everyone here on the panel. It's great that the government is behind this. You know, we've heard of the Fit India movement. We all want to be part of the Fit India movement. But when you know that they're on board here, they're not just coming here to be a part of a panel discussion. Fit India are here because they are behind this, and we are thankful to the government for that. Give India, it doesn't get bigger than that. To be driving this, when you need a driving force, you need a driving force like Give India. But before we go forward, I need to have just a little alteration done to my backdrop, and that's the reason is we are not just calling it India Run as One. We'd like to say a big thank you to Sunfeast to be part of this. And so before I go forward, can we just remind you that this is in fact Sunfeast India Run as One. There you have it, folks. Sunfeast India Run as One, and it's changed miraculously behind me. We love technology, don't we? But it's just wonderful. And one more time to say thank you to everyone. You've already had them introduced. I'll do that one more time in no particular order. Ali Harris Shere, Chief Operating Officer, Biscuits and Cakes Food Division from ITC Foods. I've interacted with him many times before. Thank you so much for being here. Ms. Ekta Vishnoi, thank you very much, the IRS officer and the mission director of Fit India. Wonderful that you've given your time and given your push behind an initiative like this. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being here. Ashok Kumar, I saw him nodding when he talked about how we said Give India has the push behind it, and that, of course, the smile and the nod says it all. President Give India, thank you very much for being here. Rahul Bose, belated happy birthday for your 27th again. We know what a wonderful part of all these movements you're behind, and when you put your weight behind it, it's much more than just passing a ball in a rugby scrum. Thank you very much for being here. We'll remind you that Milan Soman will also join us. He's got a speaking engagement. We will see him very shortly. Abhishek Ganguly, General Manager, Southeast Asia and India for Puma. Thank you, Abhishek, for being part of this, as always. Vijay Raghavan Venugopal, Vijay, co-founder and CEO, Fast and Up. Big thank you to you for being part of this initiative. Ankit Kaur, Head Online Business In-App Categories and Switch BD from PhonePe. We said hello to you earlier. One more time, hello. And Dr. Anurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, BW Business World and E4MO, Exchange for Media Group. Thank you, gentlemen and lady, for being part of this movement, this revolution, this initiative. And it's time to hand over to the miracle makers, the miraculous brothers, Vivek and Anil Singh. Gentlemen, take it away.
So first of all, Gautam, thank you. I could just sit and listen to you all day, but we've got lots of things to cover in this. So first of all, thank you for coming on board. You've always been such a passionate supporter. You do it from your heart, and that comes through in each and everything that you do. On behalf of my brother Anil, the entire team of ProCam International, it's an absolute privilege that we are blessed to be birthing what we feel, what we believe is another movement. The Tata Mumbai Marathon, which was birthed in 2004, got India running, and from about a base of about 30,000 runners in 2004 and 2.5 events, there are 2 million runners today and 1,600 running events in the country. So when we talk movements, this is what it really is. This is a movement. It's being birthed as a movement. It is being taken care of as a movement, and it is a movement. Gautam alluded to the fact that the Singh brothers and ProCam International don't know what despair and despondency is. That's primarily because God has been kind, and secondly because that's in our DNA. But I must tell you, with all humility, that the images that we saw coming across in April, the lockdown was around the 21st of March 2020, and the images that we started seeing, especially in April, did bring us down. We felt it, and more than just feeling it, and more than just feeling what the pandemic was doing and had started to do, we felt something even greater. We felt a sense of helplessness that, you know, we're all facing the same storm. There's no question about it. Everybody's facing the same storm. But you come to realize that not everybody's in the same boat. There are some people who are much better off, more fortunate than many, many more. What are we going to do about it? We can put teary-eyed emojis. We can send it as forwards to our groups and friends. We can say a silent prayer at night, which I did. But is that all? Or can we do something more? So we started by doing some things more for our own areas, for our own health groups. And then we said, can ProCam birth a platform that is not just for runners or a certain community, a platform for India, Indians and Indophiles from across the world to come together? Can we birth a platform that will empower people to say, you know what, I can be part of the solution in whatever small way. I'm not just part of the problem. We all know That nobody's asked anybody to move mountains. All we are asked is that when something is happening, we put our shoulder to the wheel. We put a footstep forward. Maybe one footstep, that's all we are asked of. In truth, in life, nobody here has the responsibility to move mountains on their own. But we do have a responsibility to put a step forward. We do have a responsibility to put a shoulder to the wheel. And that's how India Run as One was born. It was not possible. I could not even think through the layers that Give India has brought to the table. God bless them. They have been a beacon in these troubled times. I think they have raised the largest amount of funds compared to any other charity or fundraising outfit in the last 4 months. They are leaders by far. They brought their intellectual capacity to this. They brought their integrity to this movement. They brought their connections to this movement. And yes, this movement is powered by Give India, and thank you for that. To each of our partners and sponsors, ITC Foods, what a step of faith. I think that will be remembered in the annals of history in India. What a step of faith. ITC Foods, ladies and gentlemen, Sunfeast India Run as One. Proud to have you on board. To each of our partners, Puma, PhonePe, Fast Enough, Exchange for Media, Business World, and Republic TV. God bless you all. We need your faith, your passion, your vision to make this dream, this mission a reality, this movement a reality. With these few words, I'm going to request my brother Anil to come in and say his piece.
Thank you. I got not too much to say, but because Vivek has so eloquently described the entire ethos behind this entire initiative. But I will say this, that when we structured it, and I'm just going to take a little bit in that when we structured it, it was critical for us to not only look at, because it needs participation, so not only just to light a candle in terms of livelihoods matter and creating that as a beacon. But I think there are two other buckets which are equally powerful, and that is community. So whether it's in terms of how we are today from a mental space, from being inclusive, from being isolated, from the financial issues that are troubling anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, from various different things, it does impact our lives. And then wellness. When it comes to that, don't go out, the motivation is not there, there's no purpose. These were extremely important pillars for us to also keep into consideration. And then when we got that, we decided to not make this just for India. It has to be for anybody in the world who loves India, who has a connect with India. And we have millions and millions and millions all over the world, Indians living, coming from where the roots were here in many cases, or the grandparents or father's roots were in India. So we built that. And when we built that fundamental, we then said that we need this to be anchored, and I'm not going to share the names today, but there will be very soon. There'll be two anchors. One that creates a conversation that inspires the global world from just who he is, inspires the global world to come together and say, hey, let's do it for a purpose. And from an India point of view, again, a real icon who will also put his shoulder to this entire initiative. So I'm not going to reveal the names right now, but they will be in a few days. And once that was in place, it was important to get like-minded partners to the table. So Sunfeast, Ali and Hemant and Shubhadi, and all these people have been playing such fantastic roles in terms of, because, it's all done literally from our world. I've actually become good at not good, but relevantly okay at technology, considering what we've been going through. But it was that coming. So Sunfeast, with their vision and the way they're supporting it. What was very important for us was also, Give, of course, everybody, that's the engine is powered by Give India. But it was so important for us to have the recognition of the government to say, we are with you on this journey. Because, we want it to be one voice. It's a clarion call. That's really what it is, a true clarion call. So thank you. Thank you so much to Fit India for partnering this and giving us that endorsement, if I may put it that way. And then we went from other partners, and that's wonderful, you know, Puma. I mean, I'm just going to, sorry, I don't want to put, but it's the length in which they're approaching and the way they are coming into the game. So, you know, it's all wonderful things. But then we wanted to amplify it. So Republic takes full ownership, whether it's Bharat or Republic TV. And then, of course, I went to my dear friend Anurag and I said, buddy, I need every asset of yours to spread this movement. And he was so generous. When we did that, we had one more layer that we wanted to bring into the table. And that was, we are very privileged from our partners and everybody, we're very privileged to say that we have so many friends who have influence. A sheer example is Rahul Bose, who's just here for the sake of the love of what is happening. So people like Rahul and beyond, we've got global people from the Marion Bartolis, the Arancha Sanchez Vicarios, the Vijay Amritrat. I can go on to the list of about 200 of them. Where we requested them all to help us by sharing their thoughts with us in terms of a video, in terms of their registration, in terms of their using their own amplification strength, because there is one call to action. And that one call to action is register now, you know, livelihoods matter. And the moment you get in, when we built this entire structure, whether it was, and we had to do it where we said, it doesn't matter. We're not here encouraging people to go out running on the streets. We are saying that when you get involved, you become a community. You talk, you have a purpose. Your health becomes valuable. And obviously, everything whatever this whole thing is for livelihoods matter in many ways. So the important part was that by just a click and registration, this entire plethora, which, you know, the registration starts on the 1st, but until the 30th of September, you can't, those are the small details I don't want to get into, but it's an initiative that, and it's got, so when you enter, it's a 99 rupee, because you want every Indian as much as possible to enter. It's 499. It's 999. And there's an international component of 50 and 15 and $50. And the idea was very importantly that with that one click, can we just with that one click open this beautiful box at this Alibaba's cave of various different interactions and how you can actually, there's 5 different ways of participating, of actually giving and donating, whether it's corporates or whatever. And so we've got these influencers from all across. And then we added another layer. And another layer was, how do we create a sense of you know, competition, which is healthy, which is based on empathy, which is based on pride. So we came up with this wonderful sub-initiative within Sunfeast India Run. It's one called Bharat 36. And Bharat 36 is 28 states of India and 8 union territories. And they're the same competition, but both separate in terms of for 8 and for the 28. And we had 3 simple pegs. Which state has the that delivers the maximum participation? Which state lost the maximum number of miles? And then finally, which state, you know, gives you the maximum money for this initiative? And we said that we will hold, and these will be officially in a very way handed over in a little kind of a small ceremony to whether it's the CM, whether it's a health minister or the sports minister of that state, and with a certain thing to say, your state, and you know, that helps us to start the conversation. So Bharat 36 is another phenomenal story that's built into it and built on a healthy competition base. So you know, this is for us, the magic of all this is where this has come. And with everybody here and many more behind the scenes, this is what I have to say. So thank you again from our side.
Thank you very much to Anil and Vivek Singh. In fact, I think it's very symbolic for all of you who've been part of the ProCam International family. You'll know that even at a big event, you'll hear either from Vivek Singh or from Anil Singh one at a time. The very fact that they've come together as one is, I think, symbolic of India running as one. So thank you for being in the same frame, as it were. But they did mention about a leap of faith. And I'd like to leap to that very leap of faith and bring in a company who are known for their innovations. They're known for their involvement. Maybe I have a soft spot of the Calcutta connection, but that's not the reason I'm going to him first. Since we're talking about Sunfeast India Run as One, I'd like to bring in Ali to tell us about his thoughts and coming on board and leading the way here.
Thank you so much, Gautam, and thank you so much, Vivek and Anil, for giving us this opportunity to be on board on this great initiative. We all understand that there's been unprecedented situation in the country and actually the world in the wake of this pandemic, and it's impacted millions of fellow citizens. At ITC, we believe in one credo, and that credo is nation first. And there is a line that we use which says, "Sab saath badhe." And we are committed to contributing to socially relevant movements that will benefit the vulnerable sections of the society. And that ethos, alignment with what ProCam was doing, got us extremely excited, and we thought that we would be very proud if Sunfeast got associated with India Run as One, and we called as Sunfeast India Run as One. When Anil and Vivek came to us with the proposal, we really thought that there was a complete alignment in terms of ethos of the brand and the ethos of the platform. It worked at multiple levels for us because Sunfeast as a brand is about being happy and making happy. And we realized that this platform is also about bringing happiness into the lives of the most needy people. When we talk about happiness for Sunfeast, we really believe that we need to associate ourselves with a few causes and causes that can spread that smile. And India Run is one of those unique platforms that are uniting the country, uniting the people, and making them take actions that can count and that can make a significant difference. There's another angle that got us excited, which is the whole nourishment angle, and this platform is going to nourish participants both physically and mentally, and our brand is about nourishment. Nourishment is at the core purpose of Sunfeast. So that's got us excited, and we are very, very happy and proud to be associated. We really hope that this becomes big, because an initiative like this, an initiative like Sunfeast India Run as One, is indeed unique. It's unique because it empowers individuals to impact lives, and it empowers anybody who wants to do it can possibly do it. The participants can do simple activities like walking, running, and jogging and contribute. And while they're contributing, it's not only about the large purpose, but while the large purpose is really important, but it's also about them. It's also about their health. It's also about their nourishment, which is really critical. So these 3 things got us driven. It motivated us to participate in a cause like this. And considering that there are challenging times and we need to collectively and individually need to come together to support the cause. So we are in it fully. We want to see that every step counts, and we want to wish everyone associated with this initiative the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Ali. I think you just summed up the simplicity of it and the all-inclusive nature of this wonderful initiative. So before we go further and move from nourishment into fitness, I think one more quick reminder of the fact that it's Sunfeast India Run as One.
We can't hear, guys.
I'll just check with this. कुछ ही महीने, पर लगता है बरसों बीत गए। वो दूध वाले लड़के की फुर्तीली हंसी देखे हुए, वो झाड़ू वाले चाचा को नमस्ते बोले, वो माइग्रेंट कॉलोनी के बच्चों की खुली किलकारियां सुनी, वो नाई की दुकान, वो नुक्कड़ वाली चाय, वो हमेशा मंडे को आना बोलने वाला दस्ता, वो बेनाम कंस्ट्रक्शन, वो हमारे वाले ऑटो के लिए। न जाने सब कहाँ होंगे, कैसे होंगे या नहीं। सच कहा जाए तो ये वायरस ने कईयों की सिर्फ रोटी नहीं छीनी, हौसला भी छीन लिया है, जैसे जिंदगी पर ही शटर डाउन कर दिया। पर ये वायरस को क्या पता, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग में भी तो हम एकजुट हो सकते हैं। तो चलिए इस स्वतंत्रता दिन से फिर उठते हैं, हिस्सा बनते हैं प्रॉब्लम का नहीं, सोल्यूशन का। हर उस माँ के लिए जिनको चंद पैसों के लिए सर झुकाना पड़ा, हर उस कारीगर के लिए जो कुछ महीनों से भूखा सो रहा, हर उस मजदूर के लिए जिसके पैर मीलों चलने की कहानी सुना रहे हो। कोई छलांग नहीं मारनी है, सिर्फ अपने पैरों पर फिर से खड़ा होना है। चक्का फिर से बनाना नहीं है, सिर्फ उसको जरा सा धक्का मारना है। इसमें हम सभी को शामिल होना है, इनको। आप देश में कहीं भी हो, आप देश के जो भी हो, सिर्फ खुद की सेहत के लिए नहीं, ना मेडल के लिए, ना वो सेल्फी के लिए। इस बार एक साथ आना है इंडिया के लिए। सनफीस्ट इंडिया रन एज वन भारत के कारोबारों को बढ़ावा देने के लिए सबसे बड़ा अभियान, जो आपके रजिस्ट्रेशन से देगा सैकड़ों लोगों को ना सिर्फ रोजी रोटी बल्कि फिर से काम करने की उम्मीद। रजिस्टर करें www.sunfeastindiarunas1.procam.in पर।
Yes, a wonderfully moving film that was indeed. But I think once again, the continuous message has been, as Anil said earlier, register and you're already on the way. It's not about the footwear. It's not about getting out there. It's not about running. That itself gets you started. I mentioned from nourishment, we move to fitness. And who better to get us started on that than Miss Ekta Vishnoi, who's the mission director of Fit India, a fitness fanatic herself. I mean, you can tell us about this whole initiative that was started by the Honorable Prime Minister and the fit that the Fit India movement would have with Sunfeast India Run as One.
Thank you, Gautam. Fit India movement, it was launched last year, August 2019. It is based on the great vision of our Honorable Prime Minister of taking India on a path of wellness and fitness. This mission is committed in making a healthier India by inspiring people, by motivating, by encouraging people to get rid of their sedentary lifestyles and include some form of physical activity every day in their daily lives. Fit India movement is basically a people's movement where people in the form of individuals, organizations, corporates, NGOs, schools, or any group, they have to own it. The people have to own it, and government just acting as a catalyst for the same. Sunfeast India Run as One is one such step in owning up this movement, and we are very happy to support this today. Under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Minister, Shri Kiran Rijiju, Fit India Mission has come up with a unique idea of creating an umbrella concept of Fit India Freedom Run. It commemorates with the Independence Day celebrations from 15th of August, and it will continue till 2nd of October, covering the two most momentous days for our democracy. This Fit India Freedom Run platform, it will support any run race, marathon, walks, anything by a group of people or by individuals, by organizations, by anyone. And we are very happy to announce that Sunfeast India Run as One is the first event partner on our platform today. And we are delighted to support this unique initiatives by ProCam. We congratulate ProCam for envisaging such initiative. We all know that, as Gautam has also said, they are the rock stars. They are the pioneers in organizing some of the biggest marathons in our country and making running a social activity. But this initiative of theirs, it will not only encourage the fitness and will lead to a fit India, but will also contribute significantly to the noble cause of supporting communities which were affected by COVID-19 and which is actually the need of the hour, the call of the hour. We appreciate their endeavor, and once again, I congratulate them for the same. Fit India Mission hopes that such events will be organized by them and many others, more further events to help us make a fitter India, a healthier India, a happier India, and an Atmanirbhar India. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think those are very inspiring words. You use the word catalyst somewhere in between. And I think that sort of encompasses your entire thought process towards pushing all of us even further. And I think it's wonderful with that backing of the Fit India movement. Certainly the fitness, the happiness, and being fulfilled at the end of it is truly rewarding for all of us. I'd like to now invite Dr. Anurag Batra to come in and give us his take on it, because he's always been a great motivational speaker. But, you know, for something where the movement itself motivates you, I think the words almost take second place. I'm not sure if he's still on with us at the moment. He may have just dropped off. So we'll keep that on hold for the moment, because I think he had a few connectivity issues, but we'll move on to Ashok Kumarji. As I said, with many people, they talk through the words, but your vigorous nod and your smile, I think in a way encompassed the entire movement behind Give India and how it's being driven thanks to you. So maybe you can give us your perspective on that.
Thank you, Gautam. First of all, it's such a unique initiative, and so happy to be, being part of this initiative. And Sunfeast India Run was one. is very unique, and it's a little personal to me. As a marathoner, I have run many ProCam events and really enjoyed the privileges as a runner. But here representing Give India, which is a 20-year-old organization, most trusted donation platform, we managed to step up in the last 4 months in more ways than one. Sometimes all of us want to do something, but even my son asked me, how? What can I do? Here is the answer for me. After this call, I'm going to tell him, here is an answer for you, to family members, saying that, every step we take, those disturbing videos we saw in the last 100 days has been quite impacted many of us in a very different way. So just to add a couple of lines, how we are powering this, we've kind of handpicked. We have about 1,500 non-profit NGO partners across the country. I think Vivek at the beginning alluded to Bharat 36. You name the state, you name the Union Territory. 20 years of hard work and relationship we have with those NGOs. So we have now handpicked about 100 of them who are focused on livelihood and covering many areas: marginalized farmers, migrant workers, differently abled, manual scavengers, artisans, sportsmen, single women-headed families, and covering all areas that I think each of us have a deep calling to do something, right? So by registering and running in different categories, people will be able to make sure that their livelihood is back. 140 million, there's 14 crore people have been impacted, lost their jobs. And we as a platform, both humbled and honored to be useful to them. And I think I want to use the word useful to them beyond words and beyond just, like Vivek said, putting a, sad smiley. And as a platform, we've been able to garner about 3.5 lakh individual donors and about 1,500 corporates so far. What we are hoping is through this, citizen movement, as Vivek called it, at Sunfeast India Runners One, we hope to motivate maybe crores of Indians to come forward who have the fortunate to either have some wealth or get a paycheck last month, which is not the case for these 1400 crore people. Can we just do a small step and come forward and run, walk, jog to contribute? Will be our pleasure. And, we will do everything we can to make sure that every rupee goes there, to the needy. And thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that's the ultimate paradox we can talk about, because you deal with so many big numbers when it comes to the whole platform of philanthropy, and yet the whole ethos of this initiative is that small step, that first step. And I think it's that small step that gets you to all those big numbers. Rahul, I'd like to get you involved here at this stage. I know every time I introduce you to an event, I talk about you wearing many hats. You would have seen something like this from so many different eyes. But what is your first reaction when it comes to something where it's just a matter of that small step, whether you're fit, not yet fit, wanting to get fit, but the involvement to deal with it is what matters here?
Yes, I think that what is remarkable in the evolution of Procam International and Vivek and Anil Singh's personal journeys is that while everything they started from a point of fitness and from a point of getting people to get up and run, something that nobody believed Indians would do 20 years ago, to now 1,600 running events, as Vivek was saying. The evolution from there, I think this will mark a new chapter in their personal and professional evolution, which is that what are we trying to do? We are trying to create a sense of wellness and community through our running events. And in these times, how do we create that sense of wellness and community without having an actual running event? And the genius of this Sunfeast India Runners One is that you don't have to run. You only have to register. After that, that money that you've spent, 99, 499 or 999 rupees or whatever it is in dollars, already goes to the cause. But this evolution would not be remarkable in itself if it wasn't for the fact that the cause behind this particular initiative that Procam has done is single focused. In the past, we have seen how their runs have encouraged many, many, many stakeholders to come and donate, participants to donate to the NGOs of their choice. But this time, all donations will go to what the people at Procam International believe is the most pressing need of the hour for the country. And they've hit their target, it's hit the bullseye, which is livelihoods. Because it's easy to say that we are helping livelihoods, but when you actually think about it, you're helping that woman who used to earn money to now pay for her child's school fees, otherwise the child will have to leave school. You are helping that man who otherwise would be close to starvation to get the money so that he might look after his aging parents. You're helping that boy to get back his chance to finish his education so that his siblings will also have a similar opportunity in the future. So it's not just the person who you're helping, whose livelihood you're helping. It is the entire family and the community that that person used to be responsible for. So 140 million might be potentially the kind of the numbers we're talking about for people to lose livelihoods. But you have to multiply that by 2 or 3, because once somebody gets back their livelihood, gets a chance, then the people that they were responsible for, that they were fostering, they too do not suffer. So it's an incredible, massive step in the evolution and journey of Procam International. And I know Vivek and Anil for the last more than a quarter of a century, and nothing can be more heartwarming than to see 2 brothers who used to push India to get up and run, to say, okay, fine, India, you don't have to get up and run. You just have to get up and register. And through a Sunfeast, through Give India, through the other stakeholders, through Puma, we will make sure that those dreams are not extinguished forever in the rest of the country. I really cannot think of anything more important it just fills me with pride that these two wonderful men have come up with this idea. And I'm not a big contributor or anything like that, but definitely I will register. I will use my voice to amplify this entire initiative. I cannot think of anything that melds sport, running, fitness, and the pressing needs of India today better than this one that I've in the last 4 months. And it will be a tough act to follow for anybody. I wish everybody the best of luck, but this particular initiative will be very close to all our hearts. So congratulations.
Thank you, Rahul. I think kind words there, but words truly spoken. And where I'm trying to pick out maybe one key word from each of our speakers, the one simple word I'll pick from what Rahul said is step. He said it's a massive step in the right direction. And that's how simple it can be. It's just one step and you've taken that initiative. So it's not about having to take 100 steps. If you want to take 100 steps, feel free. But once you've taken that first step, I think that's what matters. And at this stage, I am going to go to Abhishek Ganguly, but before that, I'd like to welcome Milind Soman, another very familiar part of the entire ProCam International, the running family, the fitness family. Milind, good to have you on board.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here today. And of course, Anil called me last night at the very last minute and told me that we've got this this panel happening and this is the event we're going to do. And he was so emotional about it. And he said, you know, this is probably the best thing that I've ever done in my life. And of course, I'm always there to support what Anil and Vivek do, because I won't say they changed my life with the Mumbai Marathon, but they certainly gave it a direction that I'm so happy about. And not only me, millions of Indians all over the country, even if they're not from Bombay. The Mumbai Marathon actually belongs to India. It doesn't belong to Bombay. So of course, I'm here very happy to be here and a part of this fantastic initiative.
We'll come back to you, Milind. I think that's again what the beauty is all about. It could be just that one phone call, whether it's an emotional one from Anil Singh or just a phone call to your best buddy. That's all it takes. A phone call. Register now. Simple message. That's all we're talking about. Abhishek Ganguly kept you waiting. Had an interesting time before the session started, but this time it's all about the serious stuff of Sunfeast India Run is One. The word run is something you know all about, but as an initiative for a company that talks about the ethos of running, you know that it's more than just that.
So I think I was on mute. Apologies. So thanks Gautam, and I think it's a privilege for Puma to be a part of this movement, and I'll tell you why first. I think first and foremost, Anil and Vivek have a huge credibility of whatever they have done with sport, specifically with running, being such massive ambassadors and evangelists of running, and of what they have done with the giving back to the society. Till date, ProCam International has raised money worth 450 crores as a part of charity. And so when they talk about creating a movement, this is serious stuff. This is just not one noble idea. And I think at this stage, despondency and lack of control is a very natural feeling in this world of crisis. However, when we look deeper, we think of what can be controlled, what are the controllables right now, what can we contribute, and sports has a great opportunity to do that. So, with this movement, I think this movement really entwines three things, in my opinion. One is hope, hope for the world, for the planet, specifically for our country. It has empathy for our people. And thirdly, it is about wellness and immunity, which is our contribution to our own self today and our own families and near and dear ones. So this initiative actually entwines all of these things together. So we will jump on board as a company, as the leading sportswear company in the country. I think it will be our responsibility more than anything else. A lot of times we talk about business and commerciality, but here I think it's a sense of responsibility that we have, and we will do our best in terms of making it successful. We have more than 40 lakh of consumers we directly deal with and engage with. We would try to encourage and inspire them to join the movement, to register, like everyone is saying, first and foremost. We have a great set of personalities we are associated with as a brand. There is Virat, there is KL Rahul, there is Kareena Kapoor, Sara Ali Khan, Mary Kom, Duti Chand, and the list is very long. And we will definitely ensure that it is, because it will definitely be a part of their calling as well towards the country and towards this movement, and integrating it. And of course, we will try our best to keep the excitement going so that the mood is good, so that, people who are, people who are achieving the maximum kilometers, they will get some vouchers from us to keep the excitement going, get kits from those, the top 5 men and women every month will get kits from Puma, just to make it a bit interesting, challenging, and to keep the mood going. All in all, I think the purpose is huge of this movement. It's actually a privilege. And I think most importantly, the movement inspires hope. And I think we need to live with this hope that the planet will repair for itself as time comes. And we need to live with this thought and make our small contributions to it.
Thank you, Abhishek. Like with multiple colors on your excellent apparel and footwear, you gave me multiple words to choose from if I had to pick one. But I will pick one, and it's responsibility from everything that you said. And I think that is something we said early on. It's individual responsibility. And if you can feel that within yourself, I think it makes this task a lot easier. Vijay, I'm going to come to you as co-founder and CEO of Fast and Up. We talked about fitness. We've talked about nourishment. But for you, I guess nutrition is the word, the watchword, as it were. Talk about the possibility of how you would play a role in taking this wonderful initiative forward.
Thanks, Gautam, for the introduction, and obviously a great privilege and honor to be in this panel. And thanks to Anil and Vivek for once again taking us and giving us the opportunity to be part of this opportunity. For us, like Gautam, like you rightly said, wellness is one of the key pillars of the Sunfeast India Run as One movement, as I would say. And Fastened Up has been always wanting to bring about a revolution in the way nutrition is looked, wellness is looked for everyone in the country. So we have actually struggled for the last few years making this point across different communities. So for us, a movement like this actually amplifies our own ideas and gives us an opportunity to do this together. And we have actually been part of the running community for almost 4 or 5 years now. And in fact, for the last 1 year, we have actively participated with ProCam in all the events that they do. This one is going to be different. And I'm very happy that this is going to touch a lot more people, not just the running community. As people were saying, that it is going to be touching multifold people. And for us, it's a great opportunity to be part of it. We have actually been doing some small things in the last 3-4 months, but there is only so much you can do as one person, right? But when you join a fraternity of like-minded people, then you are able to do much more. And I think for Fastened Up, that is a big move ahead, especially with very august colleagues who are sitting here. One small difference this time would be that we would definitely miss the expos. We would definitely miss giving the Fastened Up drink on the route to hundreds of runners this time. But I think the cost here is much larger than that. And I think we would definitely want to engage with everyone, put our might as an organization in whatever way possible to connect and get people to register. And as we said, livelihood matters. And if we can make a difference to the society, even as a small up and growing company, we would have done that job pretty well. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. I'm sure it's going to be an exciting lot. I would personally be registering and hoping to do my part, and we will all be together in it. Thank you.
Perfectly summed up there. I think that's, again, we talk about one side, you've got a giant company like a Sunfeast putting their might behind it. But I think the message here is that no company or no individual is too small or too large. It's that initiative that you take that actually matters. So thank you, Vijay, for that. Ankit, I'm going to come to you. We briefly alluded to the world of phone calls when I referred to Anil's phone call, but not everybody makes phone calls that are that long. But when you talk about the industry of, phone pay and the integration of money and payments and the ease of it and the convenience of it, not only that, you've been doing your bit during this pandemic as well. So I think it's almost a natural step for you to take forward coming on board here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gautam. Anil, Vivek, I think you guys are doing an absolutely brilliant job out there. The rest of the ProCam team as well. I think it's an absolute privilege for PhonePe to be associated with Sunfeast India Run as One this year. Just the idea of galvanizing the country at this point with this pandemic around just resonated so well with PhonePe's philosophy of giving back to the society. You're right, Gautam. I think we have been doing our little bit during the last few months in whatever shape or form that we could have. We've been raising funds for social causes, for CM relief funds, the cyclone relief funds, and of course our largest initiative to date, which was the I for India initiative, where we raised close to about 45 crores for the PM cares, right? So when this opportunity came about, we said, okay, fitness, a marathon running, and digital payments, what is it that we can do? And we said, we have access to 200 million users, right? From the largest cities in India to the smallest town. We have about 200 million people who use PhonePe today. And we wanted to contribute, we wanted to spread the word about this great initiative, right? We wanted to reach out to our users, actively encourage them, truly make this a pan-India event, a pan-India movement, right? I mean, Vivek spoke about this earlier. This is truly a pan-India movement, right? And we wanted to encourage this. We have access to these customers, to these users. And we said, we're just going to encourage them. We're going to put India Run as One on our homepage. We're going to talk to our users. We're going to tell them about what a great thing this is. And the fact that, I think you mentioned this earlier, Rahul mentioned this as well, that this is just a genius idea, right? You can run, of course, but all it takes is just to register, right? And I think that's what we're really going to be encouraging. We're going to do everything that we can. And of course, we are in payments, so we are also going to be powering the collections of the registrations, which is going towards a great cause, right? So I think in whatever shape or form that we as a digital payments company with our reach can do, I think we're happy to do that and happy to be here.
Yes, thank you, Ankit. Galvanize was one word that I think I'll take ownership of because I started it first. I'm not going to give you credit for that one. But reach, I'm going to pick on the word reach from what you said. That's what matters. It's one thing to have and do what the incredible brothers have done by galvanizing everyone, getting them on the platform. But it's another thing to be able to reach out to everybody, to make sure the initiative reaches where it's supposed to reach. And the likes of PhonePe can go a long way in helping us reach there. Another person who reaches many, many miles, Milind Soman, kept you waiting. Thank you for joining us. You've been part of many initiatives that are firsts, many initiatives that are unique. Now, whatever little you might have heard of that from last night, and we're all learning about it as we speak, we know that it's something that India will never have seen before, and hence it's so unique. Milind, I think you're on mute.
Technology, I tell you. All right. Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Loud and clear.
All right. All right. So I think the fact that this involves the whole of India is very, very important. I think if you ask anybody out there on the street, like, would you like to help? Would you like to help somebody? And people who have the wherewithal to help, and nobody's going to say no. The problem that most people have is the fact that the issues look so big, and they wonder how just, one person or, somebody like me contributing something, whatever I have, how is it going to help? So a lot of people they don't even get into that space. But when we create something like this, with so many entities involved and so many people who are putting their effort and energy into creating something like this that is nationalistic and pan-India and so on, then we get people to believe that something is possible, that to do something is possible. People don't believe. They don't believe that, okay, I'll one registration, what is it going to do? 400 rupees, 500 rupees, 600 rupees. Look at the problems we're facing. But when you see a movement like this, when you see the scale and size of this event, you see the kind of people who are involved in it, who are backing it, who are encouraging each other, motivating each other, you feel that together, even the tiniest step that we can make. I mean, everybody spoke about taking a step, a massive step that ProCam has taken. Rahul also spoke about a step. But even if it's a tiny step, everybody thinks that, oh, my step is going to be, what am I going to achieve? I have only this much. But everybody making that tiny step is going to actually create the big difference. So the belief that, yes, together we can do it is something that I feel is going to come out very strongly from this in the end. And that the fact that I don't have to be a runner, it's not about runners. It maybe have started by runners, but we can join in. We can join the runners. The runners may have come up with this idea and they might be really excited and enthusiastic about it, but we can actually, go along with their enthusiasm. And even the smallest thing that we can do, the smallest step that we can take is going to make a huge difference. That belief, I think, is very, very important. I think that comes from a movement like this.
It certainly does, Milind. In fact, when I first heard about it myself, and I was talking to someone about it, and this was the very reaction that I got, that if you tell somebody that, listen, it's not a running initiative, why don't you tell your mother to join as well? But in your case, it's probably a bad example because your mother is just as fit.
Yes. Yes. No, it's true. I think the main thing is to, why I think this is so relevant that it comes from runners is the first thing when you run, you do your first 3K or 5K or 10K, you begin to believe, you begin to believe in yourself. You begin to believe in the change that you can make to your own life. And thereon, you begin to believe in the change that you can make in the lives of other people. And that is why marathons have become these huge charity-based events across the world. I mean, marathons are always linked with doing good for society. So this is something that runners already know. And this is the kind of belief that we want everybody to share with us, that this is going to make a difference. People think that, problems are so big, pata nahi government kya karegi, kaun kya karega, kya ho sakta hai, kuch nahi ho sakta. People are full of these doubts. And we know, especially in a situation like this, when things are changing from moment to moment, information is coming in one day, which is negated the next day. There's so much misinformation. There's so much conflict of opinions coming from the highest level that people just don't understand where the world is going to be next week, But I believe that if we all take the right steps together, let the government do what the government has to do, let industry do what industry has to do. But if all of us do as much as we can, however tiny it is, we must believe that if all of us do just as much as we can, whatever it is, however small, we are going to make a huge difference together. So I'm sure you've spoken about togetherness and unity and all of those things and steps, but that is the whole thing, that everybody who hears of this, everybody who is reached out to the millions that we're talking about, reaching out to those people, they must believe that yes, the smallest thing that I do is going to make a difference. And if we all get together, we can change the way India looks in the future.
You've hit the nail on the head. In fact, Vivek, I'm going to come right back to you. We've come a full circle. We've heard initially from everybody. We're going to get everyone in just a bit more. But I'm going to come back to both the brothers, in fact, and seeing everything that we heard. Milind even mentioned or expressed the kind of a doubt someone might have. What's the government doing? But the beauty of it is, not only do we have everybody, we've got the government, we've got everyone involved. So I'm sure just hearing what everyone here has to say, it's already starting to give you a little bit of satisfaction for the efforts that you put in.
Absolutely. It's so heartening because everybody cannot start a movement, and it's a responsibility, it's a blessing, but everybody can join a movement. And that's what we are seeing. The mere mention of this is getting all kinds of people aligned. So wonderful of Milind to come and spoke as he has spoken hats off to him. I remember him as one of the first celebrity marathoners in India, and he has been an inspiration to a whole generation of people behind him. Milind, hats off to you. It's just amazing that what people need is to feel that they can make a difference. And what we really want from ProCam, from the Sunfeast India Run is One, is that everybody can make a difference. The moment you know that you can make a difference, there is a certain other mindset and paradigm that kicks in, that adds a bounce to your steps, that adds positivity to your mind, and you become a positive individual. There is nothing like giving. There's nothing like the power of giving. Nothing satisfies more, nothing energizes more, nothing encourages more than giving. If there's anything that we are here on this planet for, it is to give.
And I also want to just add a little bit by saying, Rahul said so many wonderful things, and that is so generous of him. And everybody else on this panel, whether it's ma'am, whether it is all our friends and partners and people who've been around here. So I really want to say this from the bottom of my heart, that thank you, because, we can just, to Give India, thank you. Because to Fit India movement, thank you. Because finally, you are the people that lends this credibility, lends this endorsement, lends the authentication. And for, Abhishek Ganguly to say those things that he said about us and about the movement and about fitness and about, when you have a partner like Puma, and when they go get behind something, the reason why it's so important is they're getting behind people who think exactly like us. And when you think exactly like us, that's the difference. A brand which is that doesn't only lead in the world of sport, but leads in the world of just good sport fashion, fashion and sport. So there's everybody. So when you have endorsement of giants, there is nothing more that we need than just that. And then it's up to all of us to do our best and say thank you. And there's so many more people involved. So I just want to say thank you. And one last thing, it's not only pan-India, it's pan-world. And that's a very critical, important thing. I got a friend of mine from Melbourne in Australia who has just committed with the Victoria University of Sport 400 registrations from between Sydney and Melbourne. I have 100 committed to me, just my friends, and they're committed to me from London. I've got 40 different global athletes committed to me to partner this and register this from Belgium, which is our GSC partner. And we were speaking to Tatas today. We were speaking to different things. Give India is doing an initiative to reach out to its corporations to say register as an HR sort of initiative, human resource officer, because we all need a sense of purpose. That's the truth. That's what I just wanted to add. But thank you.
Thank you, Anil. Typical, you would have picked a moment like now to call somebody in Melbourne. 10:30 at night, they've gone to bed, but he's woken them up. But that's Anil for you. But it's wonderful that everyone is. But that's the beauty of going international, making sure there's involvement from everywhere. Ali, I'll come back to you. Just purely in terms of you were hearing about it being international, for a company of your size, to be involved with something like this, I think it's also important that that you're putting behind, the leap of faith that you're taking, comes from everything that we heard. Ali, I think you need to unmute yourself as well. Thank you.
So, like I was saying, that it's a big initiative and it's behind a large cause. There is absolutely no doubt in our minds that we need to make it really large, and we need to make the vision that Anil and Vivek had reach its conclusion. Because there's a vision in it. And it's not easy for everyone to see it. They've seen it. It's very important for us to see it as well, and rally behind this cause and make it large, because the germ of an idea must have come maybe a few months back, but it's growing, and what we see today is exciting us. But where it will reach, possibly, we can't even believe and imagine. And I think that's the place we need to take it to.
So you've got a corporation like that, Ashok Kumar. I'll come to you. You talk about the experience Ankit mentioned about phone pay getting involved, but at the end of the day, yes, it's those small steps that you take, but the experience that you bring to the table as the driving force, I think you cannot ignore something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things we have learned in the last 100 days, I use the word being very useful. What we managed to do is we helped both individuals and corporations. So in the last 100 days, we managed to get about 220 crores, just to give a number there. It's not just a 220 crores. We managed to impact 4 million lives. I think that's, to me, is the real measure of, the success. Now we're trying to see how can we, using this movement, can we even make every individual give, and every individual help the livelihood, initiative on the issue they're passionate about. As you rightly alluded to, I think Procam is a great partner. I think given the credibility and all the runners across the, across the country. But I want to add one thing, right? It's not just the runners, and I think it's the citizens. I think each of us as runners, and I'm also talking a personal experience, getting our families, getting our friends kind of to join this movement. And also you're also seeing the slums nearby, food packets going all around. I think the key is that, can we use this movement to kind of consolidate all that so that it is very structured, it's very systematic, and it's very trustworthy. I think hopefully we've been able to bring the trust demonstrated in the last 2 decades, and it takes 2 decades in fact to build the trust. I think that is something will lend its support to Sunfeast India Runners One from Give India, and that's our endeavor.
Yeah, I'm glad you added that aspect to it, because we spoke about the fact about, does it's almost like the elections. Does one vote count? But at the end of the day, if you can get that trust factor, knowing that it's that one vote, it might be a registration at level A or level B or level C. But if you have the trust factor, that's what matters. And we've also got a few members of our media who are listening in, and we encourage you to put in your questions in the box, which I shall try and pull out for our panelists. I've got one at the moment, and it is addressed to Vivek and Anil. A fairly simple question, but there will be a lot to deal with, the modalities of it. One simple question to start with: is there a limit on the number of people who can register for the event? Fairly simple question. Anil, you guys are both on.
Sorry, there's
you're back.
We are hoping to get as many millions as we can. And with PhonePe just making that, Ankit making that wonderful statement that they got 200 million that they can reach out to, I would be embarrassed if we didn't have it. For all of us, I mean, you're all putting up mics, so we are expecting big numbers. There's no limit.
Fair enough. I don't see Rahul on at the moment. There was a question for him, but I'm going to throw one to Ali. It's addressed from a very business-like perspective. As a sponsor, as a partner, how would this go back to help a brand like yours, partnering with an initiative like this?
While we're looking at, see, there's a word that Abhishek had used, which was responsibility, and it's not all about finally getting the marketing benefit out of this initiative. Of course, we are looking at that, and it's a marketing initiative as well. But at the same time, there is, with an organization that has very clear credo of India first, and a brand that has a strong purpose, and the purpose of spreading happiness, it's very important for us at Sunfeast to ensure that some initiatives that we do actually benefit our end consumers. And we are a very large organization. We are an organization, and we are a large brand with very high reach, and we reach all the smallest. We are a heartland brand, if I may call it that way. And therefore, all these people that we're talking about, who we are talking about helping, are also our consumers. So it's something which is coming from a purpose, it's coming from a responsibility, and also, of course, coming from spreading happiness.
Yeah, and I think there is another question which I think has actually been answered. But I guess before we start wrapping up, maybe it would be a good way for both Vivek and Anil to have their final word on this. And the question comes from a member in the media saying, what are the key things ProCam International is looking to achieve through the Sunfeast India Run as One event? And I think that question itself probably addresses a synopsis of everything that everyone has said. But maybe Vivek, if you'd just like to answer that and in a sense, give us a final word on your thoughts for this.
I speak not just on behalf of Team ProCam, my brother Anil, but on everybody out here and everybody who supported this. It's the three pillars: community, social impact, wellness. Community, to engage a large number of people with a common purpose. Social impact, to make a difference in somebody's life. And wellness, to set into motion a habit that will build immunity, an immunity that will help us all. If there is one word I had to link all these three pillars together, it's hope. We all, as a human race, as India, as every country around the world is facing this pandemic, we need hope. We need to keep our spirits up. We need to keep going and making a difference. The day we stop making a difference in another's life, there's nothing else left.
You know, there's a lovely line I came about, and I love to share it, but I really loved it. It really got me. It said very simply, act as if everything you do makes a difference. Your life depends on it. Full stop, it does. Yeah. And that's what I loved about it. Act as if what you do makes a difference. Full stop, it does. And that's the real truth. You know, Anurag Batra has joined us, so I just thought I should let you know that.
Yes, you cannot. It's unmistakable. We missed you for a while, but I'm glad.
I had a pre-scheduled interview, which I couldn't with a Parsi gentleman, and he's a lawyer. He was not charging me money for that time, so I made good of it.
That's typical. It's the only kind of response you could have expected from Anurag. But we've had a great perspective on trying to get a sense of the event. We'd like to hear your thoughts on it, because we've had lots of words coming out of it, from hope to responsibility, but we want to know from you, because when you get involved with something, there's something very special behind it, and this is a movement that's like no other.
Gautam, I'll make it real. Okay. First of all, Anil called me and looking at ProCam's track record, and when I say track record, I'd say three things. One is novelty. They're pioneers in whatever they've done. It may have started at whatever scale, it has eventually become very big and impactful. So look at the track record of ProCam. Second is the fact that it is something which is for charity. It is to make a difference. And sports are the only thing that kind of binds us in a way that nothing else binds. Running is a sport, running is an activity. We talk of community. I mean, the running community is the biggest community. So, and third, which is very, very important, is the kind of partners associated. When Anil, he and me chatted at about 11 p.m. in the night, and he was telling me all those details, I said, Anil, while I'll hear them, and it's great to know, but I'm in, so please tell me by all means. But I know that when you guys do something, you really do it with passion. You do it at a scale. It does make an impact, and I'm sure this is starting in COVID times, but I'm sure it will find a expression in post-COVID times also, when hopefully things are back to close to normal, if not normal, hopefully normal. So I think I would say sports is the true uniter. Running is at the intersection of health, it is at the intersection of community, and it is at the intersection of well-being. So, all the partners that are part of this initiative kind of bring all those elements together. So I'm looking forward. I remember about 4 years back, I texted Vivek or Anil, and they said, I don't have my Airtel Delhi half marathon. I haven't registered, and he was kind enough to let me register late. But I've never completed one. So someday I'd like to run and complete one. So let's see what we do. And
well, first you get on, register for India, for Sunfeast India run as well.
This time in time. So I'm just happy to be part of it. You know, one thing I learned by being in business and doing what is that life is all about collaboration and relationships. Of course, it's a given that they do what they do well. So when friends call, I like to say yes more often than when I'd like to say no. So that's how I live my life. And I jokingly, it's not a good joke to make, but I still make it. And I got invested by the Yes Bank founder. So, but that's okay. I remember Anil and me had another conversation on that. But I believe in saying the power of taking, you know, participating in initiatives which are not necessarily yours, because that's what life is all about. So I leave it at that, short and sweet. But I'm really delighted and that we are part of it, and hopefully I'll register for it and I'll run.
Thank you. And that's the beauty of it. I think it's a registration that's important, as Anil Singh said to Anurag Batra. Also important that the phone calls should be made after 11 o'clock at night. So that's another lesson that we learn. Abhishek, what time was the call made to you before I wrap up? Just to clarify.
I was very lucky. It was 9 p.m.
Okay. You were one of the early birds. But just before I thank everybody, I just wanted to share with you something that, you know, Vivek mentioned about the WhatsApp forwards that we've got, and WhatsApp University has been a big part of our lives over the pandemic. But there was something really very poignant that I got just yesterday before I got my 3 p.m. phone call for this. And that was a little WhatsApp forward with a father and a mother turning to their child and going, you know, we think you need to get a little bit fitter and you need to go out and run. And the child doesn't look back at them. He's on his phone and he says, okay, send me the link. And that resonated to me because it really told me that even if it's that child who doesn't think he should go out and run, he can still be part of this. Because if he gets that link and gets on August 1st and registers, that's all that matters. You're part of the movement. If you happen to be that kid who turns around and says, okay, I'm going outdoors and running, even if it's in that restricted area right now, that's fine too. I think that's the message that we've been all left with. It's hope, it's responsibility, it's togetherness, it's endless possibilities, and it's getting out there and registering. Register now. That's what Anil Singh said at the start. That's what I'm going to say at the end. August 1st is when it starts. We are here to make a difference. Livelihoods matter. And it's the simplicity of the entire message. Thank you for everyone who's on the panel. Rahul Bose, Milan Soman have left us. We've thanked Fit India for being part of this from the government's point of view. Give India, of course, Sunfeast for leading the way. Abhishek Ganguly, thank you for Puma. Ankit, Vijay, Dr. Batra, Ashok Kumar for Give India. And of course, to the miraculous two brothers, Vivek Singh and Anil Singh, for pioneering this. We leave you all with the reminder for the registration.
Though I'm not an official organizer, I'm a part. But every time I have an interaction with you off screen or on screen, it's always fun. And you bring a certain energy and you bring a certain, you know, ease of doing it, you know, so must compliment you on that, you know, in life, complimenting something also, sending energy. So give a big round for Gautam.
Thank you, Anurag. The payment will be there on PhonePe for you. All right. Thank you, everyone. Again, a reminder for that registration. And I think it's only appropriate we should leave you with the sounds of the wonderful anthem that always resonates with all of us. Thank you. And it's all about Sunfeast India, run as one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
विश्व झील के अंदर एक जिंदा लहर उठाना, हर दिल की खुली सड़क पे उम्मीदें लिखते जाना, सोए सोए सपनों को एक हलचल ख्वाब दिखाना, किराने लेकर बिन बंदिश बहते जाना, सोच लिया तो मुमकिन है, निकल पड़ो तो मुमकिन है, सोच लिया तो मुमकिन है, निकल पड़ो तो मुमकिन है। I'll make it happen now. Get up, go. Nothing stop you now. Get up, go, get up, go. जब सच्ची दौड़ हो अंदर, सब बंधन सुझ जाते हैं, दुनिया के हाथ से चेहरे रातों के धुल जाते हैं।